goes. I want you all to close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you're a 28-year-old girl. You've just got married and you're ready to start a family. You go to the gynecologist for a routine yearly exam, and you get a call back a couple of days later to come in and have a biopsy done. So you go have the biopsy done, and you get another phone call saying you need to come in and have a LEEP procedure done. LEEP is Loop Electrosurgical Excision Procedure. The doctor tells you will come in, you will lie on a table, you'll be awake for the procedure, you'll have your feet in stirrups, and we'll expose your cervix. We will inject your cervix at 4 sites with a local anesthetic. Then we'll go in with a small tool that looks like this, hooked up to a machine that runs an electrical current through it. And we'll slice the tissue out. Are you horrified yet? Well, so was I. I'm Katrina Atkinson, and this was my story. Cervical cancer is fairly rare. There are approximately 11,000 cases per year diagnosed, and approximately 3,600 women die of cervical cancer every year. This is according to the Division of STD Prevention and the American Cancer Society. According to the National Cancer Institutes of Health, these numbers are predicted to be a little bit higher for 2009. Now, these numbers are so low because of procedures like the one I just told you about, and several others that are even more horrifying. But what I had was not cervical cancer, but cervical dysplasia. It is the precursors for cancer. According to Jeffrey Y. Lynn of the Sibley Memorial Hospital in Maryland, in 2007 alone, there were 330,000 new cases of high-grade dysplasia and 1.4 million new cases of low-grade dysplasia. But I'm not here to talk to you about cervical cancer or even cervical dysplasia. I'm here to talk to you about the human papillomavirus, better known as HPV. I want to tell you about HPV, what it is, how you can get it, and why you should have your children vaccinated for it. You see, HPV is the virus that causes cervical cancer, cervical dysplasia, and several other rare cancers of the genital, including cancers of the penis and cancers of the anus. So why vaccinate against something that causes such rare diseases? Well, let's talk about HPV for a moment. According to the U.S. Division of STD Prevention, 20 million Americans are currently infected with HPV, and 6.2 million will become newly infected each year. So what does this mean for you or for your children? Well, according to the Division of STD Prevention, I quote, at least 50% of all sexually active men and women become infected at some point in their lives, and most will never know that they had it. So look around. What does that mean? That means that if you haven't had it yet, very likely your partner does. According to the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Disease, women have an 80% chance of becoming infected with HPV by the age of 50. That's a pretty high number. Now, even if your daughter waits, which I know you think she will, until she's 30 or until she's married to have sex, this won't prevent her from becoming infected with HPV. According to the American Cancer Society, HPV is not spread through blood or bodily fluids. It is spread merely by skin-on-skin contact. An infection has been reported in women who have never had sex. So let's think about that for a minute. Skin-on-skin contact. So that means that as a teenager, if you made it to third base, or if your boyfriend made it to third base, guess what? You were at risk for infection for HPV. Skin-on-skin contact. I could shake hands with you. I don't know where your hands have been. Skin-on-skin contact. So now that you know about HPV, how do you prevent it? Well, for starters, there is no cure or treatment for HPV. No cure. There are only treatments for the diseases that the human papillomavirus causes. According to the American Cancer Society, condoms won't prevent infection because condoms don't cover the entire genital area, and chances are you will have become infected before the condom ever goes on. So the only way to really completely lessen your chances but not totally eliminate them is to never, ever have sex. Yeah, right. Or kiss, or be intimate, or shake hands. Shall I go on? So what now? Well, it's too late for me, and more than likely it's too late for you. But it's not too late for our children. There are two vaccines on the market: Gardasil, which was approved in 2006 by the FDA, and Cervarix, which was just approved in October of this year. All of my research shows that there are over 100 known strains of HPV. Approximately 60 of them cause common warts that you will find on your hands and feet. Approximately 40 are mucosal, which means they live in parts of your body that have mucous membranes, like your nose, your eyes, your mouth, and women's cervix. Of these 100 strains, 13 are known to cause cervical cancer, and 2 are known to cause at least 70% of all cervical cancer cases. Those are strains 16 and 18. According to the American Cancer Society, strains 16 and 18 are also responsible for the majority of those other rare genital cancer diseases. Gardasil goes a step further than Cervarix, so that's the one I want to talk to you about. Gardasil also vaccinates against strains 6 and 11, which, according to the American Cancer Society, are responsible for over 90% of all genital warts cases. And according to Jeffrey Lynn, there were over 1 million cases of genital warts in 2007 alone. Now, the FDA has approved Gardasil for use in boys and girls aged 9 to 26 and recommends that girls be vaccinated between 11 and 12. So why so young? Well, like all vaccines, Gardasil is not effective unless it's been administered before contact. Gardasil has been claimed by the FDA and the CDC to be extremely effective. But how safe is it? Well, several sources say that there is no mercury or no thimerosal in Gardasil, which are the key ingredients that are debated in all other vaccines. VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, is a system that is a joint effort between the FDA and the CDC for reporting all adverse events following vaccinations. As of September 1st, 2009, there were more than 26 million doses of Gardasil already administered in the U.S. 15,000 reports of adverse events have been reported. 93% were considered non-serious, and 7% were considered serious. Of those 7%, not a single one has been linked directly to the vaccination. And if those numbers seem high to you, according to the CDC, those numbers are about half of the adverse events reported for all other vaccines. Gardasil is currently supported by the American Cancer Society, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, just to start. So now I've told you about HPV and how 50% of all sexually active adults will become infected. I've told you how easy it is to transmit it, what diseases it causes, and how you can protect your children. I implore you, go to some of these sites, research it for yourself, ask your doctor questions, and by all means, have your children vaccinated before it's too late. Thank you.
That was close, but